Yeah, I do think the last couple of weeks have served us well to get out on the training field and to really double down on some of the work needed in the group. Some very decent work. Players look very focused, plenty of energy. As far as Miami's concerned, if not the most talented group in the league, they're not far off it. And of course, always a huge challenge. I see this fixture as being no different. With Lionel Messi back, there's that inspiration in the group, and they look like they're in a very good place. So, a tough weekend, but as we continue our process of working players back into the group, and certainly trying to get ourselves in a better vein of form. Going there, I'm sure, will be difficult, but it will be a challenge we'll look forward to.
Great. We'll start in the room with questions. Jacob?
Yeah. Gary, how has a bye week helped you guys get back to fuller health, fuller availability with guys like Walker and Randall?
Yeah, I think there's some of the keys to what happens next, really. A couple of the guys have been out working very, very well, Randall and Tyler Boyd, and I would expect those guys to be part of the equation for the weekend. Walker and Shaq are out on the field. This weekend might just be a push, but we'll see how today goes. They're both getting some decent work done and are not a million miles off. So very, very pleased in certainly in the aspect of getting those guys back into the team. And I think generally in looking to try and give the group a little bit of a lift and a boost, and I know I've mentioned that after the game against Philly, those guys will certainly feel, in Randall's case, who's been out nearly 3 months, I believe, it'll feel like a new player coming back into the group. So, those individuals are very experienced. They've given us some really good football, and we're not a million miles away from getting them back into the full swing of things now.
Gary, before the break, you told us that because of the results that your team was having, and mainly because of the accident on the pitch for your team, you were thinking about having a conversation with Mike about maybe making some more personal stuff. How much had that changed in your mind after that?
Yeah, listen, there's been some really good discussions this last couple of weeks. A lot of energy placed around that sort of dialogue. But I think, as I've just said there, part of the chat as well has been about, look, with our best group on the field, I think we're as competitive as most. What I do believe is that this league, as always, has improved. And if you look at the way that one or two of the teams outside of the playoff line last year, they've gone about their business, they've improved. Miami obviously being the biggest example of that. So in general, it gets harder and harder to be above that line. So when we've got our best group on the field, and we need to have our best group on the field, we're very, very competitive. But what we're seeing, I do believe, at the moment, is a team that's challenging, that are not lacking any sort of commitment, and indeed going in front in games. But if you look at the way that we have the ability to manoeuvre off the bench, for example, I think we've seen goals go in late in games more often than we've seen before. And that can also be to the challenges of the stretch nature of our team. So that part of it has been more of a focus probably than what you asked me, Claudio. And make no mistake, the medical department have been under more pressure than they have been before to get these players back.
We'll go ahead and start with the Zoom now. Ben Wright.
Yeah, Gary. Before the bye, I think we kind of left it where you mentioned wanting to talk to Mike about maybe getting a player or two in, and I know the transfer window here is closing in the next couple of days. Is that something you guys have discussed? Anything, something that you're potentially expecting, or do you kind of expect that some of these guys you're getting back will maybe offset the need for new signings this window?
Yeah, I think maybe I covered that with Claudio there, Ben. Yes, there's been chatter about that. Yes, we have some bodies that, if we're available, would be great. But the bottom line is, this time of year is never easy. It's early on in the season, and we certainly shifted our focus into, okay, what are the timelines for some of these guys that are out of the group? The lads that have not been playing are very, very influential. I don't need to remind you of the 4 players that we've been without for some time now. Getting those guys back are of major priority. And of course, that plays into any individuals that we might be considering outside of that.
Blair, go ahead.
Hey Gary, obviously you had a little bit of time off, and there's been a lot of sort of in world soccer about team building activities or things that kind of rejuvenate the group and get everybody back together. There's a Dubai trip that everybody talks about when it comes to Arsenal and the Premier League. So I'm just curious, was there anything like that from your end, or was it pretty much business as usual?
Dubai probably wouldn't be a great place to go at the moment if I'm reading the news right. There's been some desperate floods there. So I get your point. Look, we're very, very early on in the season. I think when you're hearing some of the groups that have been away, tried to just galvanise teams or even relax in a different environment. I know that, certainly reading about the, Sam Allardyce and Harry Redknapp were masters of that, of picking the right time to get the players away. An old manager of mine, Martin O'Neill, was brilliant about that, in bringing the group together and getting abroad somewhere, some sun on back, some rest, and a bit of socialising with the players, with some work thrown in. I think it does wonders. But the time of year, I think, is very, very important. The players that we've got that need treatment, that need work to get themselves back on the field, we're better served being here. Players that have got through a decent amount of work in the opening exchanges of the season, I think wanted to spend and have some time recovering and around their own family and in their own surroundings. But we've also got some very, very good work done on the training field. Standards have been at a very good level, and I'm really hoping that some of the work that we've put in will be just as productive as the guys having some rest and some time away from each other at certain points.
We'll go to Michelle next.
Hi Gary, I'm Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. I missed the very beginning, so I hope you didn't cover this already, but I just want to ask you where you see Miami right now. They, the Monterrey patch was, a little dramatic and didn't go as they wanted, but then they came back and did what they did against Kansas City the other day. How do you see the team right now? I mean, Messi seems to be back to his usual self. Alba may be out this week. Where do you see the team right now? You're as familiar with them as anybody, having already played them a couple times.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed that Lionel Messi has got himself back probably into tip-top sharp form as we come back into town again. He's had a period out. I think what we can safely say is when he's in the group, there's a very, very different feel and look and inspiration about the team. And that's taking nothing away from the quality and the standard of some of the other guys that are involved there. At this point in time, I think they're in a very, very good spot. They're playing some excellent football. The Monterrey game, if you look at it, and we've seen some examples of it in the Champions League this week, there are very, very fine lines between, two excellent teams playing against each other. A sending off in the first leg, team seemed to tip the scales one way, and that was towards Monterrey in the final throes of the game. It gave them a little bit of a nudge in front, and then all of a sudden the second leg became a slightly different challenge for Miami. They needed to score. It made life a little bit more difficult away from home, but I don't think an awful lot to choose between those sides. and two excellent sides at that. They've also got some players out, and you've mentioned Alba, but there's a lot of players on the sidelines that they have that they're waiting to get fit. And I think when they're at full strength, they're going to be a mightily difficult team to suffocate and to really get anything out of. They've got an awful lot of talent in that squad.
I want to ask one quick follow-up, if I could, about injuries. Some of the reporters around here were asking yesterday, feeling that Miami has more injuries than other teams, and then the media relations director said, why don't you go around the league and make a list of all the teams and the players that are missing. Miami's not the only team that's dealing with hamstring injuries and knee injuries, and I know you guys are dealing with significant injuries. So I'm just wondering if you could comment on how normal is that? Because around here, the injury list does look long, and people think there must be something wrong with something they're doing because there's so many injuries, but it looks like there's injuries in your team too, big ones.
Yeah, look, I think there are some components that are certainly going to play into it. The fact that ourselves and Miami were in Champions Cup, I mean, look, I don't follow their schedule or their work, obviously, to the finest detail, but you've only got to look at their pre-season and the challenges that they faced. A lot of travel, lot of games early on in the pre-season. I think it was 7 games. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So an awful
7 games in 5 countries. 7 games in 5 countries.
So we all saw what went on there. For ourselves, it was really about 8 games in 24 days. I do believe that had a huge impact on some of the difficulties that we've had. I can't comment on what they do. All I can tell you is that obviously the more external challenges that the team have in travel, climate, actual workload in games is going to put an awful lot of pressure on those players, and then what the result of that might be. So I can't tell you what they do in training, but what I can tell you is what they've been through is a hell of a lot.
We'll go to John Lupo.
Thank you.
Gary, having already seen Miami, especially with the addition of Luis Suarez, I know, as you said, they have a lot of excellent players, but he's already scored 6 goals in 8 matches, and he scored once against you guys in the Champions League. How do you go about defending someone of that quality paired up with Messi? Just if you can't stop him, at least try to contain him.
Well, I think there's the key. You can only try and limit their opportunities. I don't think you're ever going to stop them. They're such high caliber individuals, so intelligent, that if they can build some pressure in and around your penalty area, it normally means there's an opportunity coming somewhere. The only thing you can do is just try and limit what that opportunity looks like. In the past, I think we've done a very, very good job. The goals that we conceded in Champions Cup, both here and at their place, we were disappointed about. Missing some players, I think, makes a difference to our group. But ultimately, I think we have a group of individuals that are more than capable of making life difficult. But it's certainly reducing the amount of chances. Those 2 guys in particular need very, very few sights of goal to make a difference. And, they've already proven that in this league, they're going to be making a difference week in, week out when they're together.
Yeah, I think we had a very tough schedule in the beginning of the season. Now having a week off without a game was good for everyone. Get a little rest. With full focus and energy now to the next game against Miami.
Great. We'll start in the room again. Jacob.
Yeah. Hany, having already seen Miami, twice this season, I guess, what is that familiarity, so early in the season? What do you hope that will do for you on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we know about their strengths. They're very good in ball possession. They want to build out from the back, from the goalkeeper. And of course we know about their qualities, Messi, Suarez up front. But we have to concentrate now on us. We are in the beginning of the season. We have to now focus on our shape, what we are after, and yeah, just try to do our best and make sure that we start getting points.
Claudio?
Hany, you've been working very hard to try to become the player you've been. I mean, you always try that, but you know, injuries and all that stuff going around your team has prevented you from actually getting there. How much do you think you're up there now in terms of the kind of player you always are?
Yeah, I think you know, my job is just to do the best of my abilities, to work hard, to train hard, and then bring it into the game, and try to help the team with goals and assists. I'm looking forward. You know, now the summer starts. Was a slow start, but I think we will pick up. We have a good team. We hopefully will get our players back from injuries, and then yeah, we have to start getting points. That's, you know, that's what football is about, to get points, to win games, and I think we have the right mentality, and yeah, we have to show it every week.
Ben Wright on the Zoom.
Yeah, Hany, I think a lot has been made of kind of just some of the struggles in attack this season so far. I went back and kind of looked at some of the numbers, and actually, if you break it down on like a per 90-minute basis, this is your second best start to a season individually with Nashville. So I'm just kind of curious.
This is my what?
Second best statistically, like per 90 minutes.
Yeah, so there's a lot looking forward to. I think I have been in the past, you know, not the, you know, I never had the fastest start of the season, and I think it's very important how you finish the season. You know, I had a small injury beginning of the season. I was not fully fit, and yeah, so now I'm getting back, and I feel much better. I feel very healthy now, so yeah, I'm looking forward for the next games. I feel confident, and I just hope to help the team, and yeah, bring the confidence back to the team, to all of us, and yeah, to get back to the winning ways.
Go ahead, Blair.
Hey, Hany, you've had a couple new teammates come in, whether it was Sam Surge kind of midway through last year, and then now Tyler Boyd as well in that attacking period. How is the interplay between you and them? And I mean, how important is it for all three of you guys, or including Jacob Schaffelberg, all four of you guys, really, to kind of have a chemistry together?
Yeah, I think it's vital to have a good chemistry together. For me personally, you guys know me. I like to be higher up the field, in the last third of the pitch. I think now with Rundle coming slowly back, and Tyler Boyd coming back to the team, that we find our way, that me and Sam can stay a little bit higher, being more effective, higher up the field, and yeah, getting the balls from our midfielders in the attacking third to create chances and score goals.
John Rupo on the Zoom.
Hany, just to follow up on that a little bit, Sam scored in the last match that you guys had. Do you feel like with you and him playing higher up in the field, combined with him getting that goal, do you feel like maybe that'll sort of not just jumpstart the offense, but just jumpstart him in general, because he obviously is a key component to you guys scoring goals on the up?
Yeah, for sure. Sam is a good player. He works hard. I like his mindset, his mentality. He's a good kid also, and yeah, he works very hard in the gym, on the field. So it's a question of time that he will, you know, score even more goals. And of course, for us, it's so important to have a couple different players who can score goals, and yeah, I have to get back to scoring goals. You know, he does what he do right now, and I think with Rundle, with Tyler coming back, a little bit more creative power, we can be a very dangerous team.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, Hany, it does kind of feel like every time anyone plays Miami that the focus is all around Miami and Messi, and obviously the players that they have. I'm curious, kind of from your perspective, do you maybe enjoy feeling like you have a chance to kind of go under the radar and surprise people a little bit, or do you feel like, hey, there are other players in this league too that deserve some attention?
Honestly, I enjoy to play Miami because coming from Germany, a lot of my German friends, family, they look forward to these games because they know a lot of players, Messi, Suarez, Busquets, Jordi Alba, and they look forward to these games. So for us players, there's nothing better than a lot of people having attention of your game, watching your games, and I look forward to it. I think it's a great excitement for all of us, and yeah, there's nothing better to beat players like these.